We are now in section 4, the information and technology dimension of this practice. In the exam, there will be 3 questions from this topic. There would be a mix of Bloom's level 2 and level 3 questions. The automation or the tool questions will be from Bloom level 2, and the automation recommendation will be the application of the recommendations. So the exam syllabus is mainly to understand the functionalities of the various tools and the recommendations for automation. Some general statements to begin with. The deployment management practice can benefit quite a lot from automation. In ITIL, automation refers to the use of digital technology to enable, support, or enhance various activities. And it can also be the full automation of activities where technology solutions remove the need for human intervention. Deployments, particularly in the Agile and DevOps environments, are mostly automation and technology oriented. So first, let's take a look at the various automation solutions for this practice. So we have the work planning and prioritization tools, the workflow management and collaboration tools, service configuration management tools, environment configuration and management tools, deployment tools, and the CI/CD, the continuous integration and continuous deployment tools. Let's go through them one by one. The first ones are the work planning and prioritization tools, which allow you to plan the various deployment activities, schedule the deployments, and track the deployments. So what does that really mean here? Work planning can mean the tracking there can mean notifications to team members regarding the progress of the deployment, notification of faulty deployments as well. And of course, we have the activity planning and the scheduling of deployments. The workflow management and collaboration tools, those allow the records management, integration into the value streams, and communication and collaboration between the teams. So those are slightly different from the work planning and prioritization. While I mentioned tracking and a notification of faulty deployments under the work planning and prioritization, in the workflow management and collaboration, the communication here in this case is for the ongoing communication among various team members and various teams during the deployment. So there's a slight difference in the communication purposes of the workflow tools versus the work planning tools. Then we have the service configuration management tools. This is just one statement here to compare the components on the various parameters. So meaning there could be different service configuration items, and the various CIs can be compared on their parameters. So for example, there could be various network links, and the parameters of those network links could be compared, or there could be different servers, different software applications, and those could be compared. Then we have the environment configuration and management tools. First of all, let's understand what an environment is. The environment depends on whether it is a development, such as a pre-commit environment, or it could be a testing environment or a production or staging environment. So environments do impact the nature of the deployment. For example, development will have more detailed logging. The environment usually includes hardware and the virtual machines, the database, the load balancer or the network component, the configuration files. The configuration of target environment can include specifying data file locations, data connection, pool sizes, the number of VMs, virtual machines, the feature toggle settings, and so on. But the most important the purposes for the environment configuration and management tools are facilitating the integration with the service configuration management and ITAM data, IT asset management data. Virtual control is an important one, an important purpose of the environment configuration and management tools. Also, this tool should facilitate the checking of the target system, checking of the components and the environment itself, and checking the suitability of the environment. And of course, it should allow to create the environment, to deliver to the location and check the environment such as the power, etc., and install it as well, and configuring the virtual environment using the infrastructure as a code. So quite a lot of functionalities in the environment management tools. And if you notice here, the statement here is to check the target platform against the set of parameters and attributes. Next, we have the deployment tools. This is mainly for the deployment of the designated service components or releases to target environments in a scheduled and controlled manner. Essentially, it's about moving the required components to the target environment. So essentially, in a tool, it will be running off certain commands to move the CIs or the components according to the specified flow or the schedule. In an automated deployment with the continuous deployment, it can use scripts for software deployments. For hardware, this is usually through the infrastructure as a code, which is programmable. Then we have the CI/CD tools. This is mainly for the automated development, testing, and deployment. All of these are automated. So mainly the CI/CD tools will be programmable for automatic setup of the environment and deployment. Automation of development can mean integration of program files from several developers, considering various code branches or versions, and merging aspects and file dependencies, and testing each and every code unit. The automatic testing could involve auto-triggering of the integration tests if the code unit builds are successful, and again, automatically notifying developers if the build fails. The automatic deployment could mean automatic promotion to the subsequent environment based on the scripts and the infrastructure as a code that was mentioned earlier. So lots of functionalities are coming, and we need to be a little cautious when trying to delineate between the purposes of each of these tools. And a few other things that I would like to mention. For example, the workflow tool can also help to manage the dependencies between the various practices and processes. Then we have I already mentioned, if it's about automatic notification of the deployment failures, then we would go to the CI/CD tools rather than the work planning or the workflow management, because it's automatic. And yeah, just deployment tools, as I mentioned, it's more about the movement of the components like hardware and software. And sometimes we have to also look at the working with the other teams to improve the overall deployments, and that can be done through communications using the workflow management and collaboration tools.